Blessings to all. Share this YouTube for everyone to see and kick the neck.
41. Losaka Jatak. Yo ittha kamasa bilanukampito o vijajmano tha karoti sasanang ajia pada molu bata mittako via sovati the. And once upon a time, the sage who was like the autumn sun to Mendura lived in Jetavanara. A theatre called Losakathiyasa Sthavira said this birth. What is the name of this Losakatisa Sthavira? He was one of the Kevu sons who lost his caste in the country of Kosol, a monk who did not receive the Siyapasa. On the day of his conception, the people of that caste who were in 1,000 houses were looking for fish in the river and in the pond with nets in their hands and did not find even one small fish. Since then, they have declined. When Mukusa was born, their village was burned down. Sacharik was fined by the kings. He was gradually saddened and thought like this. In Purva we do not have this kind of deterioration. Now I am getting worse. There must be one wretch among us. 500 and 500 each joined, saying that 2 divisions were left. In a certain part of it, his parents will also deteriorate in that part. The other part is growing. That part was also divided into 2 parts, and in this way, as much as that caste was united, they examined them and released them, knowing that they were miserable. After that, his mother was living in sorrow, and when she was pregnant, she was struck in one place. It is impossible to destroy that Western creature. Like a lamp inside the pot, the ahat fruit of his heart shines. The woman took care of the baby, and when she was walking towards him, she gave a pan to the baby and ran, saying, "Son, come to this house." Since then, the baby has been sleeping alone in one place, looking for alms. No more bathes. The body does not heal. Panshu lives in sorrow like a vampire. In the same sequence, the 7 open the door of the shop and eat the bowls and water like a crow. After that, he saw the great Lord Dam Senavi Saryu doing good work for the city of Savat, and this animal begged him very much. "In which village does he live?" he said. "The heart of compassion is greener for him." That baby himself went and worshipped the Lord. After that, "In which village will he stay? Where are your parents?" he asked. "Lord, I am helpless. Both my parents left me, saying that they were fainting because of me." He asked if he would become a priest in Velendu. "Lord, I will become a priest." Beggars like me asked who would be ordained. He said that I will be ordained. "Ordain the good," he said. The Lord bathed him and took him to the temple, bathed him with his own hands, ordained him, and was ordained when he was 20 years old. When he reached old age, it was known that Losaka Tisasa would become stable. In wisdom, there are few prophets. He did not feed the entire kitchen of the invisible gift. Life is dependent only. Once a spoonful of porridge was served in his bowl, it looked as if it was filled to the brim. Then people serve porridge in the bowls of the lower direction, thinking that his bowl is full. It is also said that when porridge is served in his bowl, the porridge in a person's bowls will become dirty. This is the method of Bada Bhojadi. That Losakatisa Sthavira established the highest Ahat Phala in the latter half of it, but he gained little. After that, when the culture of life gradually declined, the day of his passing away came. Dam Senavi Sariyut Mahatheru reflected and said, "Knowing that he has passed away, Tissa Stavira, who is in this world, will pass away today. Thinking that today I am going to give food to only Moha's dependents, he called and went to Savat city to feed them." Sariyut Mahatheru did not only offer obeisances to the city of Savat, which had many people, because of that worship. Then the Lord came, and he sent Yava to sit in the Asana Salava, and he said to the Sasthaviras that this Ahara Losa is God. Those who took the food remembered Lokasakatisa Sasthavira and ate it. After that, when the Lord stood up and worshipped the temple, Losakatisa Sthavira went and worshipped Sthavira. As long as Sthavira was looking back, did you eat? He asked. Lord, I don't get it, he said. The Lord became frustrated and looked at Kalvela. Knowing that the time has passed, the Lord sent him here. Saying that he would sit here, Losakatisa sat down in the Asana hall and proceeded to the palace of the king of Kosol. The king brought the Lord's bowl and thought of the time to serve the food and served Chatumadhura all over the bowl. The Lord took that Chatumadhur and said, backward, I will drink this Chatumadhura for you, and sat down with the bowl. He is not ashamed of the Lord. Then the Lord realized that, then, I will continue to take the bowl. Without sitting down, he said, if I take this bowl out of my hands, nothing will happen. After that, he was unhappy. Vu Losaka Tisasa Sthavira caught Vachu Madhura while the great Ishwar Dam Senavi Saryu Mahathyeru was carrying the bowl. The sweetness of that plantation did not go to decay due to the divine power of the Lord. At that time, Losakatisa Sthavira embraced him all over his stomach. On that day, Anupadishesha attained nirvana. The Omniscient cremated the body from near. They took the relics and built a temple. At that time, the Bhikkhus were sitting in the assembly hall, and there was no merit. It is meager. He was saying how such an ungrateful wretch could have attained Arya Dhamma. Venerable Lord, when he was working in the Dhamsabhava, monks, now in this Dhamsabhava, when he was discussing what kind of speech would be with him before I came, Lord, he announced that this name is a speech. As the All-Wise One said, monks, this monk did not gain any profit for himself, but only achieved the Arya Dharma. This monk used to make a profit for others and got a little profit. Vidara recounted the previous story that Arya became Dharmalamlabhi as a result of the meditation that is suitable for the enlightenment of impermanence, suffering in Anatma. Once upon a time, during the time of sage Kashyapa, a certain monk lived in a hermitage in a village due to the son of Kelimbi. Piyavi is virtuous in nature and engages in enlightenment. After that, one Kshinashrava Thera will cover all. Subsequently, the son of Kelimbi, who was attending to that monk, came to the village where he lived. Kelambi Putra happily took the bowl in the path of the Lord, made it home, prepared it, buried it, listened to the Dharma talk and bowed down to the Lord. The Lord went to the temple and bowed down to the resident Lord. The resident spoke to him and inquired whether he had received the almshouse. Yes, he said. He asked where he got it from. He said that your nearest village is Kelimbi's son's house. Saying this, he sat down and meditated and pondered and sat down. In the evening, the son of Kelimbi brought scented flowers and lamp oil and went to the temple to bow down to the resident Thiru. Most of them are critics. And so he said, where now? Ask questions. Kelimbi's son went near him and bowed to one side and listened to the Dharma talk. In the cold weather, he offered fragrant flowers to the pagoda and the Bodhisattva, lit lamps and invited them both. As the resident Lord, he will break these thorny suns. He thought, I will make sure that this monk does not stay in this temple from now on. Therefore, he did not say anything with Avahu during the service. Knowing the intentions of those monks, Lord Kshinashrava did not know that this Stavira was not attached to my caste or my caste, he thought. He went to the closed place and spent time with the pleasure of meditation and the pleasure of fruit. On the second day, Lord Devashikar also struck the fruit with his nail and put it in the door with his nail and went to the house of Kelambi's son. The son of Kelembi took the cup and made him sit on the appointed seat and inquired where the guest was. I don't know the news of Mima Toses Kulapakstaviriam. The fruit came to the door and I was not able to take it. He said that those who preach will preach in places like this. When Lord Kshinashrava woke up, he thought it was time for him to be a monk. He rested his body, put on his robes, rose to the sky and ascended to another place. The son of Kelembi bathed the Abhisanskrit Pyasa with ghee and Sakira to the resident lord, sprinkled the bowl with fragrant chalk and refilled it, O Lord, as if that guest Sthavira fainted on the way. He offered to bring this food to him, as if the residents were taken away without waiting. Therefore, if that bhikkhu had already contracted this Kashira Pyasa, he would take the griever and release it, but he would not leave. From time to time, if I give this Kashira Pyasa to human beings, my actions will be manifested. If you put it in water, you will see ghee on the surface. If it has been planted in the ground, it can be seen from the meeting of the crows. To check where this Kashira Pyasa is Dharmado, he saw a field that was burnt coals and covered it with coals and went to the temple. As if he did not see that monk in the temple. Surely, that monk is a Kshinashrava, knowing my intention, I will go elsewhere. He thought that I was disqualified because of my stomach. At that very moment, a great sorrow came over that monk. From then on, the human spirit will soon be born in evil. That man was left in evil for many years and 1,000 years. 500 people were born as devils of the nation due to rotten karma in hell and did not have food in their stomach for a single day. One day, the pregnant woman's stomach was full. The dog of the nation was born again 500 times. At that time too, one day, he was full of food that was raised. The rest of the time, he is full of food in his stomach. Born as a dog, he was born into a miserable caste in a village in Kasi country. From his birth, that caste was extremely sad. Only a little bit of porridge did not come from the navel. He became known as Mitta Vindaka. His parents could not bear Kshuddha's suffering and forced him to send the poor man away. Mitta Vindaka went to Varanasi without a supporter. At that time, the Bodhisattva was Disapomo Kachari in Varanasi and was teaching the art to 500 human beings. This Mitta Vindaka also practices skillfully in the presence of the Bodhisattva. He does not take men's advice. They attack each other. A Bodhisattva is admonished and not admonished. He had few people because of him. After that, Mitta became a victim. Without quarreling with the human beings and not warning them, they go from there and walk from place to place, but go to one village and live there. There he had sexual intercourse with a beautiful woman. That woman hid 2 babies because of him. Mitta gave the victim the power to tell us not to do anything with the village vasos and threw him in a village gate. Because of that victim, the village of Pasal was watered and the king was fined 7 times. They burned their houses 7 times. Satcharic water dried up in the pond. He thinks that we do not have this kind of person before the first victim. Now, when he comes, he will start to deteriorate, so they released him. He took his babies and went to a place where he came to a forest inhabited by inhumans. There the inhumans killed his children and wife and ate the flesh. Mitta Vindakaya ran from there and wandered from place to place. On the same day, he arrived at a Pathan village called Gambira. He was a laborer and boarded the ship. The ship he boarded was as if he had been at sea for 7 days, and on the 7th day he was stuck in the middle of the sea. He received clean votes. 7 times Mitta came to the victim. The men of the ship gave him a piece of bamboo stick and took him by the hand and went down in the sea. As soon as he dropped it, The ship left. Mitta Vindaka went across the sea in the age of Hunakalapti, and from the fruits of virtue that had been preserved by sage Kashyapa, he received 4 divine women in a crystal plain on the sea and spent 7 days enjoying pleasure in their presence. Those lovers of Vamana will eat pleasure for 7 days. They are going to eat suffering for 7 days. They said that we will stay here for some time. When Mitta Vindakaya left them, there were 8 divine women in a silver Vamanik sitting on the lake. In addition to that, there were 16 goddesses in the jeweled Vimanic and 32 divine women in the golden Vimanic. They also went to the house without saying a word. One of the demons behaves in the form of a goat. The victim did not know that she was a demon, so he touched her feet, thinking that he was eating goat meat. Oh, you have raised him up with devilishness. Mitata Vindaka was thrown by Yakshani and fell on a thorn on the wall of Varanasi and fell on the ground. O5. At the same time, on that wall, the horses of the kings are walking on grass and taking away thieves. Goat farmers also hid themselves in fear of thieves. Mitta Vindakaya was at the turning point and saw those goats. I caught my foot on an island in the sea and was thrown by her. I fell here. So now I caught the foot of a goat. I thought that I, who would give that goat, would be placed near the heavenly women on the surface of the sea. He meditated on this and took hold of the feet of the goats. The goat cried just because it was taken. The goat farmers came to Obinoban and took him, who had been eating the king's goat for so long. At that time, the Bodhisattva, escorted by 500 human beings, left the city to take a bath. It is said to those people who see and know the victim of death. He said, how did he get one of our hands? Lord. These goats caught the legs of a thief in one of the houses. So it was taken. If so, he made us slaves and said that God lives because of us. He is good. Saswamin said Vahansai and left him. After that, the Bodhi animal is a sweet enjoyer for you. He asked where you have been living so far. All that he had done was now. The Bodhisattva says that those who do not obey the words of those who wish to work will come to this kind of suffering. If one does not listen to the advice of those who wish to work and sympathize with heart and soul, then the Purusha is constantly squeezed like the bitter sufferer who holds the goat's feet and mourns. Khan said that he will mourn. In this way, the Lord did not feed all the 3 souls in Mululla for such a long time. One day when the devil was born, he was pregnant. On the day of Purinivapana, Dam Senavi Sariyut Mahatheru was inspired by Chatumadura. In this way, the profit and the error should be given to others. At that time, that Acharya and Mitta Vindaka died in the same manner and went to the next world. The all-wise Bhikkhu said, thus this Bhikkhu is the one who gains the most, and the one who is the one who has attained the Arya Dhamma. At the same time, Mitta Vindakaya was now established in the world. He said that he was born as Disipamok Achari from the mother of King Tiluguru Samyak Sambuddhu.